I messed up. This is my 2019 BMW M5 competition. And as you can see, it doesn't have an engine in it. And that's because I bought it with some serious crash damage. And while I was repairing it, we had to remove the engine to fix some of its many issues. So far, we've completely repaired all of the frame damage, inspected the engine, and in the last video, we nearly got the engine installed. But we ran into a huge problem. We had damaged a sensor that is crucial to the engine functioning. So now we have to replace that and get the engine back into the car. Will it work? I have no idea. But if it doesn't, we're completely screwed. However, there's only one way to find out if it will. By trying. And so that's exactly what we're doing. By getting right into fixing this very complicated, weird motor that's attached to the engine. This is called the Valvetronic servo motor. And what it does is allow the engine to adjust the valve timing on the fly by turning what looks like a little screw, moving stuff around in the engine. To remove it, you have to unbolt it and then spin the screw inside of it to pull it out of the engine. Reinstalling it is very similar. And I think I did it right, but it's hard to find information online about replacing these. So to be honest, I'm not sure. With that problem solved, hopefully, we can now replace another broken component on the engine before we reinstall it. The intercooler. In the accident, the intercooler got absolutely destroyed. But thankfully, we found a new used one on eBay, and installing it is very simple. Just a few bolts and hose clamps, and it's good to go. Now, because we basically have already done this once before, lining the engine up and putting it back in is actually not as hard as it may seem. The hard part will be getting everything plugged in and working. With the engine in place and the car lowered onto it, we can now bolt up the subframe with 3 quite large bolts on each side. And then we can bolt all of the main suspension components back into place. And finally, the M5 is starting to look like a real car again.
Wow. It's in.
Oh yes.
Back exactly as we had it when we got it, except with that there. And with a JB Weld in the engine.
It's like new. We still have a lot more to do on this engine, by the way, because we're gonna try to fire it up in this video, which means we need to order parts. You won't have to wait for them, we will. But in the meantime, we should probably make sure everything is in correctly and finish the last couple bits and bobs.
Yeah.
Because this, let me tell you, this thing's got gizmos, bits and bobs, everything. Look at all these gizmos.
Too many gizmos.
Who knows where they go? I can't remember, frankly.
We should have swapped an LS into it.
I know. It probably would have been way better.
Easier somehow.
Yeah, for sure. The fact that we've even gotten the engine out and then in again feels like a huge accomplishment.
Yeah, it is back in the car.
Yeah, as you guys know, we are not real mechanics. We are learn by doing people. And this is very much learning by doing. I'm still unclear if anything will work, but that's part of the fun. While we wait for more parts, we need to get the M5 rolling so we can put it outside and out of the way. To do that, we have to make sure all of the suspension is bolted down securely. Getting the upper control arm attached is a bit infuriating, because you have to spread the metal apart while you slide the suspension in. But with a bit of brute force and ignorance, our specialty, we can get it installed. With that done, we can get the coilovers bolted in place, connect the transmission mount up, and then roll the car outside where it will wait for our parts to come in. And after a week of impatiently waiting, they're finally here. Now, it just might look to you like random plasticky bits and small metal pieces. And that is what it is. But I can assure you, it was very expensive, and we're starting to get over our budget for this car. But we have hopefully everything we need to get this pile of junk working. Now, this to me gives me horrible, horrible anxiety and OCD, because there's literally hoses everywhere. There's hoses for the vacuum system, there's hoses for the coolant, there's hoses for the everything, the transmission, the fuel. Literally, this is, I don't know who designed this, but I would like to have several words with them.
I hate that guy.
I don't like that guy. No offense, I'm sure you're a nice guy.
Full offense.
Full offense, actually. Yeah, stop. Yeah. Don't ever do this again. Now, me and Will, who are not BMW engineers or super smart people, need to figure out how to put this all back together again. And we're gonna start with the most difficult thing, the hoses. It's Jackson from the future with a special announcement. If you've been watching the channel for a long time, you might know that we've had merch. This is the old merch, and if you have it, well, you're a real fan of the channel, because that disappeared quite a long time ago. And we've been working tirelessly to create a new line of merch that we're really happy with. It's taken a while, but I can show you 2 of the items now. You won't be able to see them all, I can only show 2. You'll have to wait for the full drop. First, we've got one of the t-shirts. We got a Captain Crankshaft logo on the front. Excuse the fact that it's a little dirty. We've truly been testing these things, and this has paint on it. And then we've got the Porsche ad on the back. This thing is sweet. It is one of the most comfortable shirts I've ever worn. We've really messed around with different t-shirts to see what the best quality one is. One that doesn't shrink too much, one that's soft, and one that lasts for a long time. And those are awesome. We also have brute force and ignorance dad hats. These are awesome. Maybe it's because I'm getting older, but I love a good dad hat. These things are super fashionable, at least in my opinion. From a very unfashionable person. That's only 2 of the items. There's even more dropping. So if you want to be the first to know about the new merch and any other merch we might be dropping, you should go down to the link in the description, captaincrankshaft.com, put your email in, and not only will you be the first person to know when it drops, but you might even get a special discount code, and you may or may not be able to win stuff in the future. So go check it out, and let's get back to the video. This M5 is a real pain, but the merch is very cool.
Jackson's got me a bunch of diagrams, and right now my job is to make all these hoses make a complete circuit, allegedly. There's a lot of open ends and things right now that I don't understand. So I have to make sure they all connect. So I'm gonna do that. If you remember these lines were the lines that sprayed fuel all over my face. So I'm connecting these first. Oh, how do I do this?
With the new fuel lines connected, Will can now start getting everything else connected up. But immediately we're running into even more issues. The more hoses and wires we move around, the more damage we're finding. So rather than continuing to start to reassemble, we have to order even more parts. To be honest, that's kind of been the theme of this whole project. When a car gets into a crash, you usually can see the obvious damage. But the reason why cars are often totaled is because of the stuff like this. Crushed wiring harnesses, broken clips and connectors, and damaged hoses, which all start to add up very quickly. To save money, we're ordering everything on eBay used, which has been helping us with our budget. But it can take a little while to get here. But after a little bit of waiting, the parts are finally here. So now we can finally get back to the task at hand. We've received many parts for the M5, as you can see from all of our boxes over here. And now we just need to do the really easy part, which is figure out where it all goes. We've already determined, do you see this wiring mess back here?
There's a lot of wiring messes. There's also this one here.
That's a later date.
That looks terrifying.
We gotta get to the first wiring mess and solve it. We've gotten some new connectors in, but in order to get to all these wires, we need to retake this off. It's always a game.
Literally just put that on there.
Yeah, it sucks. That's part of doing this.
It's so bad.
The intercooler is mainly held in by a bunch of hoses, clips, and a few bolts. With all of those removed though, we can unplug it and pull it out to get a better look at our wiring disaster.
All right, so now we have this exposed.
We're getting used to taking this thing off.
Which is some oh, it's gross in there too. Oh, there's the other wire.
There's the red wire that we've been looking for.
Oh my God, these wires are all screwed up. Peel this back.
Okay, so we have quite a few wires that have been disconnected. Wiring is certainly not me or Will's specialty. So in terms of everything we've done on this project, this is truly where we're going in blind. Luckily, most of the damage is just broken wires. So the first step to fixing everything behind the intercooler will be to reconnect those wires. In terms of wiring, this is probably the most simple task. First, we have to strip the wires back, and then we need to connect them to each other. To connect them, we're going to use these funny named butt connectors, which are basically a piece of plastic tube with metal in the middle. With both ends of the wire inserted, we can then crush the metal in the connectors onto the wire, ensuring there's a connection between both and holding them together. Then we can heat up the plastic to shrink it down, sealing everything off. I've never done this before, so I've had to waste a few connectors, but I think I'm getting the hang of it. And now I can fix all of the damaged wires before moving on to the next task. Okay, we have a slight problem because the connector that we bought on eBay is technically not for this car, but it was so much easier to get it. Like, you can't really just order it, but the wires are different colors. Now, we have a 50-50 shot here. We have from the original car, a red and a white wire. From the new connector, we have a white and red wire and an orange wire.
We're gonna go red to orange and red to white and hope that's right.
I feel like that would make
Or are they crossing over weird?
We're gonna see what we can do here. Now, it could totally end up with our water pump just not functioning properly. Wow, I took way more of that than I needed to take.
Definitely could do that, yeah, you're right.
It has a high probability of doing that, in fact. After deciding that 50-50 odds are good enough for us to work with, I'm gonna connect the wires and plug in the final piece that is preventing us from moving forward. Now, if this doesn't work, we won't be able to know until we start the car. So it's definitely risky considering once everything is installed, this will basically be impossible to access. This sensor controls if the car properly pumps coolant around the engine. So if it fails, we could seriously damage the car. But sometimes you just have to send it and hope. So that's what we're gonna do today. Probably not our best method, but it'll work. With that done, we can start on reinstalling the intercooler. We realized that last time we actually did it wrong and forgot a hose clamp. So we kinda got lucky that we had to take it off again. Because these hoses are designed to hold a ton of pressure from the turbo, the tolerances are really tight. So getting it properly seated and clamped is crucial. Unfortunately, we don't have the OEM hose clamps, but some generic ones should suffice. And after a bit of trial and error, we have the intercooler installed, which means we can get to what I'm dreading most: figuring out the maze of hoses. You'd think this would be a fairly simple process. With the internet, it's usually really easy to find all kinds of useful diagrams and pictures. But for the M5, it feels impossible. Because BMW likes to overcomplicate things sometimes, there have been a lot of small updates and changes in the engine cooling system as the production of the car has continued. So every diagram has small differences that make it even more confusing. Another issue is that it turns out that these differences in the diagrams also don't help when ordering parts, which has immediately caused a problem for us.
Sit rep.
Me and Will have been trying to figure out, for the life of us, what connects here. Frankly, what connects everywhere, but this is the piece that's really like the end of the puzzle that we can't really quite figure out. Now, we've been looking forever trying to connect things. Nothing works at that angle. We've watched Matt Armstrong's videos to try to find an angle on his M5, and we've rewatched our videos. And what we've come to the conclusion of after picking up the old, very crushed pipe is that they're very similar pipes, but they're different. This one is keyed to fit in this direction, which means this nub faces
Also, that
down.
nub's even the wrong size.
And this one is keyed to fit in this direction, which means the nub is out, which means we can actually connect the thing that we need to connect, which I think is this. No, it's not that.
It's this one.
It's this one.
Yeah.
No, it's this one.
No, it's the other one.
It's this one.
Yeah.
You see what we're dealing with here? It's very
Yeah, there's a lot of
All we know is
laptop,
this,
phone, video,
this
everything.
bad.
Yeah.
This good, allegedly.
Well,
and now,
that-
on second look on this, I think all we need to do is cut this one-time use thing off, which might be very challenging,
On the other side.
and get this out. Would love to see this work. You might be cooking. You might be cooking. He's cooking. Ladies and gents. He's cooked. Well,
Let him cook.
oh!
Is that working? It worked. All right, now put the new one on there.
This will be like this, and that will be like that. And now, just like that,
We have the right pipe.
from one wrong pipe and one broken pipe, we have.
Emerges from the ashes.
With our Frankenstein pipe installed, we can now start to follow the path of the water through the entire car and get all the pipes properly connected. For a seasoned mechanic, something like this might not seem super difficult, but we've never done anything like this before, really on any car. And starting with something as complicated as this is just making it much more confusing. The cooling system consists of about 30 different hoses, 4 pumps, 4 radiators, and enough sensors and dead ends to make you lose your mind.
Don't do this ever. Seriously.
Do not buy a BMW.
This is professional advice here. If you want to work on a car, buy something else. 'Cause this is horrific. There's no exaggeration going on here. Nothing.
You bought a new, oh, okay, there you go. Well, that's unhelpful in this exact moment, but nice to know. This is some. All right, so that goes there. What comes out of it?
This number.
Where is it now?
I need hose number 1.
Who is it?
It's one
We don't have that.
We have somewhere, I'm sure.
I don't see it here though.
All right, so after some deliberate searching, I don't think we have that hose. So, where's that? Hose number 5 that we've had to put in separate orders?
Mode number 5!
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm confused.
Yeah, no, this is properly. This is.
We have scoured the internet for just about any video, picture, diagram, or article about this cooling system to help us make sense of it. But to be honest, it's really turning into a game of guessing and checking. We think we found a diagram that is mostly accurate to our model year M5, so we're labeling everything based off of that in an attempt to better understand where it all goes. The radiator is a huge part of the cooling system, so assembling our radiator pack is going to be crucial to getting everything lined up. With all the hoses and radiator ports marked off, we still are confused about some connections that seem to be missing. And after looking at some diagrams, we think we might know why.
We've made a revelation. This hole up here is supposed to be blocked off. Didn't come with a block off when we bought a brand new radiator. But after hours of scouring the internet, watching other people's videos, we found out that that's what we're missing. And that makes everything a fully closed loop now, right?
I really, truly hope so.
That should make sense. Wow. So we have to order that now because we don't have it. And we also don't have one hose. And we don't have a sensor. And our sensor was the sensor that goes into the radiator was that, so we don't have that either.
Well,
But at least we know.
Wiring job.
We know what's messed up though.
Yeah.
Nice work.
That's perfect.
Found it.
After realizing that we're still missing multiple hoses, we decided that the best course of action is to just keep going and get everything else hooked up as best we can. There's still one more thing that has us very confused though. Our radiator has one port on it that we literally cannot figure out what attaches to. None of the diagrams or the videos seem to mention it. Without figuring out what attaches here, the cooling system literally makes no sense. But after spending hours scouring everything, we think we might have figured it out. We have run into a slight issue. And that issue is we need to order parts. As you can see, we've started to label kind of everything and get an idea of what goes where. We've even got the radiator supports on and all that. But before we can stack our big radiators here and our AC condenser, we need to wait for parts, because once we put that in, it's going to be very hard to access stuff back here. So we've reached an impasse. And in the meantime, we need to fix a few other things. We can actually start getting a bit more organized up here. There's an ECU on either side of the engine. That's what all these wires go to. And those wires on those sides, or on that side. And we also can bolt this reservoir in and get that all hooked up. The only problem is we've kind of made a slight mistake. As you can see, this goes to one side of it, and that's in the right place. You can even
That
see
goes to one side of the
that
reservoir.
little channel right there.
Nice.
Perfect. That's where it's supposed to be. This one though, is we sort of barricaded it in. I can't get it to
Jammed
here.
under a pipe.
Yeah, you see that silver thing? Silver thing in the way. So I'm gonna need to, I think it'd probably be easiest to just undo it.
Yeah, undo the silver
I need
thing.
to get in, I feel like.
The silver thing?
Yeah.
It wasn't too bad.
After moving the hardline out of the way, we can relocate one of the hoses for the coolant reservoir to where it's supposed to go. With that done, we can now bolt the reservoir down and hook it up, checking one more box on the long list of connections in the cooling system that we need to install. Now, we can get started on plugging in the ECUs. Fortunately for us, modern cars all have keyed connectors on the wiring harness, which means that you can't plug in something on the wrong hole. There still is a correct order to plugging everything in though, and making sure that everything is securely mounted and properly plugged in is very important. Because if anything in the ECU or wiring harness is incorrect, the car simply won't work properly. When plugging connectors in, it's also important to make sure you're very gentle but deliberate, because bending a pin will cause major issues for the car as well. With the ECUs plugged in and mounted, we're coming to a point where we can't do much more. Well, I think we have everything connected successfully, minus all the stuff that we have yet to connect. But ECU-wise, I think we're golden. Shockingly, that is now actually starting to give me slightly less OCD with everything getting organized here.
It looks more like an engine now, and we know where all the hoses go, which honestly was the most intimidating part of this whole project. Yeah.
So now what we have left is we need to wait for the parts and then see if we can get it running for the very first time without it exploding.
We keep saying that, but we promise we're trying.
We are very much trying. The problem with this is you start to work on it and then you realize you're missing stuff and then you need to order stuff, and that keeps happening.
Yeah.
So hopefully this is the last round of ordering things. Subscribe. Thank you so much for watching the videos. We love you and appreciate you. And let's all pray together that our BMW doesn't explode.
Cue the outro.
You and my
Yeah.